I realized something was wrong with my relationship when my partner thanked me for being understanding about something I didn't know I'd agreed to. We'd been together a little over 2 years. Nothing dramatic, nothing chaotic. I lived alone, and he had his own place, but we spent most nights together. We had routines. Grocery shopping on Sundays, half watching shows while scrolling our phones, inside jokes that only made sense to us. It felt stable in a quiet way, which I liked. That's probably why it took me so long to notice the cracks. It started with small changes that were easy to explain away. Plans got rescheduled more often. Texts took longer to get answered. When I asked how his day was, the answers became shorter, less specific. Whenever I brought it up, he reassured me. He said work was stressful. He said he was tired. He said everything was fine. Then one night, out of nowhere, he said, "Thank you for being so understanding about me needing space." I laughed and asked what he meant. He looked confused. Then a little uncomfortable. He said we'd talked about it. That I'd agreed he should have some distance for a while. We hadn't. I assumed it was a misunderstanding. Maybe I'd said something half asleep. Maybe I'd forgotten a conversation. I didn't want to accuse him of lying over something so small. But after that, the distance became deliberate. He'd say things like, "I know we're taking it slow right now," or "I appreciate you not pressuring me." Each time, it sounded like we were on the same page, except we weren't. I started feeling like I was constantly trying to catch up to a version of the relationship that had already moved on without me. Friends asked how things were going, and I never knew what to say. Nothing was technically wrong, but nothing felt secure either. It was like standing on ground that looked solid until you shifted your weight. The moment everything finally clicked came during a casual conversation. We were talking about future plans, and I mentioned a trip we'd talked about months earlier. He paused and said, gently, "I didn't think we were planning that together anymore." I asked why. He said, "I thought you knew. I didn't want to reopen things." That sentence stuck with me. Reopen what? We talked that night. Or at least, I tried to. Every concern I brought up was met with something vague but reasonable. He said he felt like I'd been pulling away. That I seemed unsure. That he was trying to respect what he thought I wanted. I started doubting myself. Had I been distant without realizing it? Had I signaled something I didn't mean to? When someone you trust confidently tells you a story about your own behavior, it's hard not to believe them. We didn't break up that night. We just stayed in that uncomfortable in-between space. Update. A few months later, after we finally ended things, I ran into someone he'd been close to during the last stretch of our relationship. The conversation was awkward but honest. She told me he'd been telling people we were mutually drifting. That we'd both agreed the relationship wasn't a priority anymore. That I was the one who needed space. None of that was true. But it explained everything. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a slow rewrite of the relationship so the ending wouldn't feel like anyone's fault. I don't think he did it to be cruel. I think he did it because it was easier than having a hard conversation. Still, it took me a long time to trust my own memory again. So now I wonder, how many relationships don't actually end with a breakup, but with a story that slowly replaces the truth? Thank you for watching. Check out my channel for more stories like this. Please also subscribe, like, comment and share. Midnight Tea Stories.